Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the archive of Maxmillian. It is so good to have you here with us today.
It's fantastic to be back.
So, if you're a regular, you already know the drill. We're doing a deep dive into the world of I suffer so they won't.
Yeah, we're not just skimming. We are taking this massive story and, breaking it down piece by piece, chapter by chapter.
Exactly. We're decoding the narrative architecture. And for anyone new joining us, we should probably clarify our mission right up front.
Right. We're moving strictly sequentially. So we've already covered the prologue and chapter 1.
And those are available as separate sources right there in the archive playlist on the channel. So if you're feeling a little lost about, who Gadriel is or what happened to the Blazing Vial.
Or why Aether is such a mess right now.
Yeah, definitely go check those out first. We are not going to rehash the entire Master's failure today because, honestly, we have way too much new ground to cover.
We have to keep moving forward. Today, we are locking our focus strictly on chapter 2.
And the title alone, man, it just gave me chills when I read it.
Yeah.
Chapter 2, The Father He Never Had.
It's such a pivot, isn't it? I mean, think about chapter 1. The title was The Master's Failure.
Right. It was grand. It was about war and squads and explosions. Felt like military history.
In this title.
It feels intimate. So heavy. The father he never had. It's like we're moving from the battlefield straight into the living room. Or, well, in this case, a tent in some ruins.
It signals a huge shift in the stakes. We're going from, the physical stakes of survival to the psychological stakes of trauma and legacy.
So let's set the stage. Where exactly are we? Because last time we saw Aether, he was pretty much face down in the mud.
We've got a time jump here. The text puts us 3 months after the catastrophe with the blazing vials.
3 months. That is a long time to sit with that kind of failure.
It's an eternity. And the location is Oakhaven. The text describes it as being rebuilt, the smell of wet timber, fresh sawdust.
I remember that line about the sawdust replacing the stench of rot, but it also said, the scars remained.
Exactly. Okay, so let's unpack this location for a second. Oakhaven.
Right.
We find out later in the chapter that Odeon, this new character, was pulled from a collapsed cellar in Oakhaven weeks before the squad was wiped out.
Okay, wait, so if you connect the dots, that's a huge reveal.
It is. It means the blazing vials were operating in Oakhaven for a while. This wasn't some random battlefield they just dropped into.
So this was a place Aether was defending, a place he'd been living in.
Precisely. So when we see him sitting in the ruins, he's not just in some random town. He is sitting in the graveyard of his mission.
He's sitting on a crate, just watching other people fix what he couldn't save.
And the text calls him retired, with quotes around it.
And he looks rough.
Aether's condition here is just tragic. He is not the arrogant war alchemist we saw in chapter 1. He's nursing this bottle of cheap, clear spirits.
And this is where it gets really interesting for me. The text explicitly says he's drinking to silence the scream.
A direct callback to Rennick, that statue of agony from our last deep dive. That's the sound Aether is trying to drown out, that specific memory.
Which, of course, brings up that prophecy from the prologue again. One turned to death to bring life. The other drank death to stop it.
I knew you were going to bring that up. You've been on that line since the prologue.
I have to be. It's right there. Aether's literally drinking himself to death. He's consuming a poison to stop the pain. Could he be the second man?
It is a tempting theory. I mean, visually, it fits perfectly. He's drinking, he's trying to stop death, but I have to play the skeptic here.
Oh, come on. Why? It fits so well.
It just feels too petty, the scale of the story. The first man, Gadriel, he defied gods. He became a lich. He altered the cosmic order.
And Aether.
Aether right now is a traumatized veteran with a bottle.
So you think it's a red herring?
I think it's a thematic echo. The author is showing us that drinking death can mean a lot of things. For Aether right now, it's just sad human addiction. I don't think this is the fulfillment of that cosmic prophecy. Not yet.
Fair enough. So Aether is wallowing, trying to silence the scream in his head. And then enter the intruder.
This scrawny little boy, Odeon.
And this kid, well, he doesn't exactly tiptoe around the issue, does he? He walks right up to this terrifying ex-soldier.
And delivers one of the best opening lines I have read in a long, long time.
You drank like my father.
Oof. Just brutal.
It's like a surgical strike, right? It cuts straight through all of Aether's self-pity.
And it tells us so much about Odeon without needing a single flashback. He knows exactly what he's looking at. He sees a drunk, not a hero.
He really does. And the language he uses, He doesn't just say alcohol. He points to the bottle and asks why Aether is drinking the solvent instead of using the reagent.
Such a specific, nerdy way to call someone out.
Right, so for anyone listening who isn't a chemistry buff, let's break that down.
Sure, a solvent is something that dissolves things, it breaks stuff down. A reagent is a substance you add to cause a reaction, to create something new.
So Odian is basically asking, why are you dissolving yourself instead of creating something?
Exactly, and it immediately reveals his lineage. His mother, Leora, was an alchemist. His father, Simon, was a drunk.
So Odian looks at Aether and sees both of his parents in one person.
That's the duality of Aether right now. He's the skilled alchemist, the mother, but he's acting like the broken father. And Odion is challenging him. Are you the solvent or are you the reagent?
And Aether's reaction is just, go away, kid. He is not having it.
He tells him to go to the orphanage. He just wants to be left alone to dissolve.
But Odion refuses.
Wow.
And this is where we get to the core philosophy of the chapter. He says, I don't want to learn how to weave baskets. Being a weaver isn't going to change the world.
That word weave is doing so much work there.
It has to be intentional, right? Because in this world, healing magic is often described as weaving skin or bone together.
Precisely. Weaving is mending. It's creation. And Odion is explicitly rejecting it. He's saying repairing things is useless.
He wants the fire.
He saw Aether melt ghouls back in Oakhaven. He saw that destruction, and that's what he wants.
And his motivation is just heartbreaking. He says his father was too drunk to fight, and his mother.
She just stood there. She died because she didn't know how to hurt them.
That's the trauma talking. To him, his mother's alchemy, which was probably healing or utility stuff, was a weakness. It got her killed.
So he equates safety with the power to destroy.
Aether looks at this angry, desperate kid, and what does he see?
He sees Rennick.
He sees the heavy infantryman he killed by pushing him too far.
Yeah, he sees that same thirst for glory, or in this case, vengeance. He sees the path that leads straight to an early grave, and that's why he refuses. He says, fire kills the user.
Better to die a healer than to die screaming.
That line. Wow, he's quoting his own nightmare back at this kid. He is sticking to his resolution from chapter 1. No more offensive alchemy.
He's trying to save the kid from becoming him.
So he tries to kick him out. He goes into his tent, passes out, and wakes up the next morning, hungover.
And the boy is still there.
Sleeping against the crates?
With a mortar and pestle in his pocket, his only inheritance.
It's just such a tragic image. He's clinging to the tools of his mother's trade.
Now, this next moment, this is the turning point of the entire chapter, maybe their whole relationship. Aether wakes him up.
He nudges him with his boot. It's just a casual, rough gesture.
And Odien's reaction. He scrambles up and he flinches, covers his head.
The flinch. It is such a powerful show don't tell moment. The text says it was a reflex honed by years of waking up to a different kind of boot.
He tells us everything about his father, Simon.
Whoa.
We don't need a flashback. That one flinch tells the whole story.
And it changes everything for Aether.
Why, though? Why does that change his mind when the speech about his mom didn't?
Because until that moment, he's dealing with an annoying kid who wants power. But when he sees the flinch, he realizes he isn't dealing with ambition. He's dealing with abuse.
There's a shared language of trauma.
Yeah.
Aether recognizes a victim.
Exactly. Aether freezes. The text says he keeps his hands visible. In that split second, he goes from grumpy veteran to protector. He can't leave this kid to the world.
But, and this is a huge but, he sets terms.
Oh.
The deal. I will teach you alchemy. I'll teach you salves, clotting agents, stabilizers.
Basically the boring stuff, the weaving.
And the absolute condition, no fire.
It is absolute. Aether is terrified of what this kid would do with that kind of power. He sees the rage under Odion's skin, and he knows if he gives him fire, he'll just burn himself up, like Rennick did.
And Odion accepts. He says, I'll take it.
He grabs the crate.
And this is where it gets, well, terrifying is maybe the right word. We get inside Odion's head for a moment.
This is the sting in the tail of the chapter for sure.
Odion thinks, you are the father I never had, because you are the first one who hasn't hit me.
Which on the surface sounds so heartwarming, right? The orphan finds a dad.
But then the narrator comes in with the steel chair.
The narrator says, he didn't know yet that Aether would spend the next 5 years replacing his father's fists with a cold, absolute tyranny of the mind.
Tyranny of the mind. That is not a warm, fuzzy father-son catchphrase.
No. And this is vital. This is not a Disney movie adoption. Aether is damaged. He's not going to physically abuse Odion. No. He is better than Simon in that way.
But he's going to be psychologically rigid. A tyrant.
Control freak. He is going to drill no fire and limits into this kid's head until it becomes a prison. He's shaping a survivor, yeah, but through fear of failure.
He's trying so hard not to be the master who failed that he's becoming a tyrant who controls.
Exactly. He's overcorrecting. He killed his last student with too much freedom, so he's going to raise this one with zero freedom.
So what does this mean for Odion? You have a kid who was abused in body, and now he's about to be, well, repressed, I guess, by his new father figure.
It creates a pressure cooker. Odion still has that rage. He still wants to burn the world down, and Aether is just putting a lid on that pot and welding it shut.
And we all know what happens when you do that.
Eventually, they explode.
Which brings me back to our speculation, that second man theory. The other drank death to stop it.
Okay, let's look at Odion.
Could it be him?
It's a very strong possibility now. Think about it. He is obsessed with offensive alchemy. He wants to stop death, to stop the bad guys.
And he's being denied the fire by the one person who can teach him.
So if Aether refuses to teach him how to burn things, Odion might eventually go looking for darker ways to get that power.
Drinking death sounds like something you do when you're desperate for power.
And if you're raised under a tyranny of the mind, rebellion is almost inevitable. He might drink death just to prove Aether wrong. Or maybe to save Aether when Aether's healing stuff isn't enough.
That is a tragic thought. Doing the forbidden thing to save the mentor who forbade it?
It fits the whole cycle of regret theme of this book perfectly.
This chapter, man, it starts with a drunk in a tent and ends with the promise of a 5-year psychological boot camp. It really does a number on you.
It's just brilliant character work. It explains why the future Acer we might see is so strict, so grumpy. It's all rooted in this single moment of seeing a kid flinch.
It also makes you wonder what it means to save someone. I mean, Aether saved him from the streets, sure, but is he just molding that trauma into a different shape?
That is the question, isn't it? Is he building a hero, or is he building a monster who just knows how to follow orders?
So listeners, here is the question we want to leave you with.
Yeah.
We have Odion, a boy shaped by a father's fist, and now a mentor's tyranny.
What kind of person comes out of that crucible?
Is Odion destined to be the hero who fixes everything? Or is he going to be a monster worse than the ghouls because he's been repressed for so long?
I am so curious to see the theories in the comments. Is the tyranny of the mind necessary to control the fire, or is it the very spark that's going to set off the explosion?
Let us know what you think below. And hey, if you are enjoying this deep dive into the archive of Maxmillian and you haven't subscribed yet,
you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. We're breaking this story down chapter by chapter, and trust me, it only gets more complex from here.
we will see you for the next deep dive. Until then, keep analyzing.
And watch out for the quiet ones.